Coco is truly a stunning masterpiece. This captivating animated film has become a real gem for Pixar Studio and won millions of hearts worldwide. In this video, we will share with you the secrets of Coco and reveal the most exciting facts we've discovered. Are you ready to watch? Let's get started. It's amazing to think that the original idea for the movie Coco was quite different. Director Lee Unkrich outlined his thoughts on this project back in 2010, focusing on an American child discovering his Mexican roots and experiencing the death of his mother. However, after consultation with the team, they concluded that it was not the right approach and decided to concentrate specifically on a Mexican child. Initially conceived as a musical, the film had an introductory scene explaining Miguel's family history through a musical number. However, the creators opted to change this approach, realizing that a narrative about the family's personal history, especially related to the Day of the Dead theme, required a deeper and more emotional approach. Instead of a musical number, they chose to use more traditional script elements to better convey the nuances and complexities of the plot. Such decisions are often made in the filmmaking process to best align with the creator's goals. Did you know that the creators of the cartoon had many peculiarities that influenced the creation of Miguel's story? Every family has its own strange and sometimes crazy rules. For example, Amy Allen, responsible for the set design, wasn't allowed to drive out of Genesee County. Lighting supervisor Ernesto Nemesio always had to tuck his shirt into his pants. Daniel Feinberg was scolded for elbows on the table and plot coordinator. Jason Katz had a superstitious grandmother who made him throw salt over his shoulder for good luck. What strange rules does your family have? Share in the comments. It's hard to grasp, but creating the film required careful consideration of clothing for each skeleton individually. Costume designers had to work hard to dress numerous characters in clothing from different eras. According to artist Daniela Strijleva, all naked skeletons look alike despite their sizes, so clothing becomes the character for skeletons, giving them individuality. In Coco, inspiration for the character's clothing is drawn from the Victorian era, with a significant influence from the works of graphic artist Jose Guadalupe Posada. Special attention is given to the engraving Katrina, which splendidly captures the fashion and style of the Day of the Dead celebration. The women in wide-brimmed hats depicted in this engraving serve as a vivid example of how clothing can become a part of cultural heritage and traditions. I think you've already understood that the creators of the cartoon took their work very seriously. So, of course, they didn't miss the opportunity to go to Mexico for the Day of the Dead to witness the holiday process firsthand. They also visited several families to study their daily lives. Character coordinator Daniel Arriaga was so moved that upon returning to America, he personally set up an altar at home to honor the deceased. By the way, at the studio, they decided to pay tribute to the dead and set up an altar right there, where everyone brought photos of their relatives. In total, they visited this country 5 times, from 2011 to 2013. The most amazing thing they saw on the trip was a cemetery where it wasn't sad, but rather festive. This is what the creators tried to convey in their cartoon. Let's talk about animation. The creators had to put a lot of thought into the skeleton dances because they essentially have nothing, no skin or muscles, so it wasn't entirely clear how they should move. Another problem was clothing, again for the same reasons that the characters are simply skeletons. As animators explained, clothes didn't sit properly on the bones and could easily get stuck between the small bones. So they worked with a special computer program called Constant Collision Detection. They also created a new program that not only handled clothing simulation, but also worked with volume, as each skeleton had about 127 bones, and approximately 80 of them were visible. Another question loomed in the air: how to animate a character playing the guitar when most animators, if not all, couldn't play the guitar. To solve this problem, they recorded the guitarists playing not only for sound, but also for video. This way, animators could study the movements of fingers and hands, and then on the editing table, compare the animation with real playing and adjust it to the timing marks. This approach allowed them to create more realistic and convincing animation for musical scenes, even if animators didn't have guitar playing skills. By the way, some of the animators of the movie, while drawing characters, based them on their relatives. Of course, among the animators were Mexicans. For example, Daniel Arriaga drew Miguel based on his son and added a few small details to make the boy look alive, such as a dimple, a mole, and a gap between his teeth. By the way, initially the character was named Marco, but they changed it when they found out that there was a character named Marco in the Disney cartoon Star vs. the Forces of Evil, also a Latino in a red sweatshirt with a mole on his face. By the way, the character of Coco was modeled after Maria de la Salud Ramirez Caballero, an elderly woman from a town in the state of Michoacán. However, the creators, for some reason, did not disclose this information and did not mention that the character was based on her. Nevertheless, some Mexican news outlets learned about it and shared the story. They interviewed the elderly woman, and she mentioned that they did come to her, took photographs, and later a tourist boom started. After the report, everyone wanted to see the beloved character from the movie. The town, known for its pottery craftsmanship, gained fame, and according to the residents, it greatly helped them, as tourists were buying their products, including figurines of Maria de la Salud. In the movie, you can find many deceased Mexican celebrities, such as the wrestler El Santo, actress Maria Felix, Pedro Infante, and Jorge Negrete, both actors and singers, revolutionary leader Emiliano Zapata, actor Cantinflas, and according to Lee Unkrich, many others. El Santo, who appears in the movie wearing his iconic mask, always appeared in public with it. Rodolfo Guzman Huerta, as he was called, only removed his mask once a week before his death. Rodolfo was buried in his mask, which is why he appears in it in the land of the dead. In Mexico, there is an art form called alebrijes, fantastical, brightly painted animal figurines. While not directly related to the Day of the Dead, these toys impressed the animators during their trip to Mexico, leading them to include them in the film. Thus, the characters of the spirit animals were born. The first spirit animal shown in the movie is a feathered serpent, possibly a reference to Quetzalcoatl, a deity of ancient America and one of the main gods in the Aztec pantheon. The Pyramid of Kukulkan in Chichen Itza, dedicated to him, is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Why is there so much music in the movie? Music is indeed a crucial part of the film, and according to one of the screenwriters, Adrian Molina, the movie aims to inspire people to learn to play an instrument and sing together as a family, uniting through music. I think the value of our work on the music for Coco is that viewers will take something away from it. I believe they will take away a desire to learn an instrument and sing with their families, using music to bring everyone together. The composer for the film is Michael Giacchino, and interestingly, the orchestra conductor De La Cruz is a caricature of him. The creators of the film went to great lengths when developing the musical elements. The team decided to immerse themselves in the rich and diverse musical culture of the region by spending 4 days in Mexico. This approach underscores the depth and authenticity of the film's sound. About 50 musicians were invited to participate in this creative process, providing various musical instruments and styles. Among the instruments used were marimbas, sousaphones, carangos, and even a donkey jawbone called quijada. This diversity of instruments not only gives the film a unique sound, but also adds a distinctive musical flavor that blends perfectly with the Mexican theme of the movie. By the way, the studio building where the work was carried out had 6 floors, and the lack of a working elevator created additional challenges for the team. Musical instruments, including those that could be quite bulky, had to be carried up the stairs. All these efforts were not in vain and ultimately contributed to the quality of the musical atmosphere in Coco. How much money did the animated film ultimately gross? The premiere took place on October 20th, 2017 in Mexico, and on the 27th it was released in theaters, where it earned $9.3 million in the first weekend, breaking a couple of records. This result made Coco the largest release for an original animated project over the weekend, and the biggest debut for an animated film outside the summer movie season. In the United States, the film premiered on November 22, 2017, and only on Tuesday evening previews, it collected $2.3 million. The opening weekend box office totaled $50.8 million. The film's budget was $175 million, and its total earnings reached $814 million. Now let's talk about awards. The film received 81 nominations at various awards and festivals, winning 63. Naturally, it made its way to the Oscars, where it was presented in two categories: Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song. Coco took home both statuettes for Best Animated Feature and Best Song for Remember Me. For Pixar, Coco became the 9th animated film nominated for an Oscar in the Best Animated Feature category, and for Disney, the 12th. At the Annie Awards, Coco was presented in 11 categories, winning 9, including Best Animated Feature. The film also won a BAFTA, a Golden Globe, and a Saturn Award, among other accolades. Disney has a penchant for getting involved in scandals, and Coco is no exception. Initially, the working title of the film was Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos in Spanish. Disney decided to trademark the phrase Dia de los Muertos, which was met with criticism from the Mexican-American population. Cartoonist Lalo Alcaraz created a poster titled Muerto Mouse, featuring a skeleton Mickey Mouse in Godzilla form, with the caption, "It's coming to trademark your culture." A petition was launched stating that it was cultural appropriation and exploitation, and it garnered 21,000 signatures. Ultimately, Disney withdrew its trademark application, stating it was done to avoid issues with the phrase and protect the film's title. However, the film's title changed, and the phrase was no longer needed. That's the story. Coco is an enchanting animated film filled with magic, music, and incredible adventures. We hope these facts have revealed new facets of this amazing work for you. Don't forget to subscribe. There will be much more interesting content coming your way. Until next time.